welcome to the 2026 business plan. I'm Byron Lazine. If we haven't met, this is Sharran Srivatsaa. You know, Sharran, NAR just came out with their 3-year plan, and they've got all these big ideas on how to help agents get the training that they need, and they want to help agents thrive in their day-to-day business. And I was thinking about today, the time that we're going to spend here with everybody over the next 60 to 90 minutes, and who I would want to actually train me and the BAM community on how to do the business plan. It's somebody who's done it at every level of the business, who knows it inside and out, from the financial perspective, from the boots on the ground perspective, from the emotional perspective that it takes to actually drive our business forward. And that's you. That's Sharran Srivatsaa. He has been in every step of the business that we're all striving to be in. And if you've ever felt like, hey, the business plan thing, it feels too heavy for me, it feels too long. I've seen really long, extensive, complicated business plans. If it's felt complicated or felt like a project where you're getting to the end of the year and you're like, I know I got to do a business plan because somebody told me to do a business plan, but it's now weighing over my head as something that I've got to complete. This is definitely for you. You're in the right spot. We're going to need more than 60 minutes. So we're planning on about 60 to 90 minutes. You're not going to complete your 2026 business plan in 60 minutes when you jump off this. You'll need more time. And so we want to provide the proper runway and enough time to walk you through the entirety of this. Sharran's put a lot of time into the business plan that's relative for every single agent in the BAM community. The agents that you care about in your office, share this obviously with them. At the very end, I've got a little surprise for team leaders. We're going to spend just a few minutes at the very end walking team leaders through the 2026 team leader business plan worksheet that I've put together, staying in line with Sharran's vision of simplify the process. Don't make it too heavy. Don't make it too complicated. Sharran, to me, these documents that we're going to be creating here, these are living documents. It's not stuff in the drawer and forget about over the next 12 months. And that's why this is simple. It's designed to be a useful tool throughout the year, throughout the entirety of your 2026. And we've already filled up this Zoom link. So if you've got a friend who's like, I can't get in right now, there is a link that's gone out to all registrants for YouTube, so you can get over there. By the way, if we're not connected on Instagram, make sure you tag Sharran and I throughout the event. If you're enjoying this content, you think this is going to be a plan that you're going to be able to put into your business in 26, tag us so that we can share that and we can show up in each other's feeds. Dozens of you guys already have jumped into the BAMX 7-day trial. We did an early release of these documents. There is a link, if you haven't done that, where you can grab this document right now and follow along in real time. So the team's going to put that in the chat. Sharran, that domain name is 2026businessplan.com. Exactly. 2026businessplan.com. So if you haven't, gotten the early access inside of school, if you're not a BAMX member, you're going to be able to grab it there and follow along. So, Sharran, any quick notes before we jump in?
No, man, I want to start by saying one thing. Just a big thank you to you, Byron, and Eric, and the entire BAM community for creating a platform for hosting this. I think a lot of times this gets very siloed from the perspective of, come to my coaching program or come to my brokerage-based business plan or come write this 25-page business plan that I won't do anything about. The thing that I love most about BAM is, you democratize this information for the industry and all the agents to succeed. So just a big thank you to you, Byron and Eric, for creating this platform for us to share this with all the agents.
Well, thank you. I'm already getting butchered in the comments for how I pronounce drawer. And I'm not sure I even pronounced it correctly then. So Laura, point taken. I'll work on that. I'll ask chat later how to pronounce the word I won't even say again. Let us know, obviously, if you're, throw a 1 in the chat if you've already started your business plan. Throw a 2 in the chat if you have not even started your business plan yet today. So we got I think that's a 50-50 mix right down the middle. Some have started and some have not started. This is going to either simplify what you've already started, unlock that block that might be holding you up from completing it, or make it easy for you to slide in and get this work done before December. Next week being a holiday week, to me, Sharran, offers the perfect time to take a step out, zoom out from the business and get this done, but well before everybody else is making their annual New Year commitments.
Yeah, so good. Awesome. Let's do this, Byron.
Let's go.
All right, so Bobby, pin me up whenever you're ready. But hey, everybody, super grateful to be with all of you. And I will tell you this, please download the worksheet because you're going to need it. And Byron and I are going to reference it from time to time. So if you don't need it, don't get it, it's going to be hard to kind of work with overall. But to frame this entire time together, I'm going to actually share something with you, which is this video that I came across for my son. This is my son, Neil. He does not look like this anymore. I wish he did. This is when he was like roughly 3 years old. And he's 14 now. And I want to play this video for you, which I think you will really like. So take a listen.
Say it.
I'm a gladiator.
You're a gladiator? Yeah. Winter is your season. Say, winter is my season.
Winter is your season. Winter is my season.
This is my time.
That's my time.
I will not be denied.
I will not be denied.
I am alive.
Excited and full of
Good job, Neil. Well, here's the crazy part. The crazy part in all of this is the interesting. You don't win by shouting affirmations in the mirror. I see my son as a 3-year-old. I see him as a 14-year-old right now. You do not win by shouting affirmations in the mirror. What you win by is you win by stacking proof, by showing the world you are who you say you are. So what is that? How do you stack proof by showing you are who you say you are? You build a plan so that you can go do the thing and actually become the person that you say you are, who you say you are. And for that, this is the thing that I want to share with you. There's 2 reasons, and 2 reasons alone, why you don't have more business. And this is why we build a business plan. Number 1, you're not good at your job. I'm sorry, like some of us are not good at our jobs. Maybe we're new, maybe we haven't spent this a lot of time. Maybe our coaches have only told us that we just spend time marketing. Or number 2, no one knows about you. Those are the 2 reasons you don't have more business. If you actually do these 2 things, you will win super big. So now, right? So now I want to actually break down what we're going to talk about today into 4 pieces to actually structure how this business plan is going to go. The first is I want to take you through why we're doing all of this. Because if you don't understand the why, none of this actually makes any sense. Second, I'm going to tell you what is actually important. Take my head out of the way. What is actually important to get done in this entire process? Third, I'm going to say, well, how do you take the right actions in this entire place? And number 4 is what should you do next? This is our next kind of call it hour together, where I'm going to take you through the worksheet so that you can write down everything that you need in this process. By the way, this process is called format, the why, what, how, now, and I'm going to break this entire thing down for you. If you have not gotten the worksheet of the business plan yet, I would download it. The interesting part about the download is you can either download it, print it off, and write on it, or it is also built to be editable right in the document. So you should be able to do that as well. So let me actually get to this on double Sharran here. So you should see the document. If you actually have the document, I think it's already editable, so you can actually just type right into it, or if you like to print, etc., it's there. The team's already put the link in the chat, so it's 2026businessplan.com. You can get the link directly. All right, so let me actually take you through this. Byron, this is a section that you and I talked about. I think setting the actual stage for why you're doing this is really important. So what I'm going to do today is I just want you to make one promise to me. The promise that you're going to make to me is that you're not going to skip ahead. So if you promise to not skip ahead, can you put a P for promise in the chat that you're not going to skip ahead? Just stay with me as I take you through this process, right? Okay, awesome. Thank you for the promise there. You're not going to skip ahead, and there's a reason for this, because this is engineered to happen in a certain way. I've done this for 13 years, the 13 one-page business plans, and every single year I've gotten a little better at this with the feedback from all of you. So this is the 13th best version of this plan that no one else has. So I want to make sure I take you through this. And the key here is I'm just going to take you through what maybe I may write in this as an illustration. So what I'm writing here is not for my plan. What I'm writing here is not for your plan. I just want to give you some ideas on what you would write in all of this. But even though if it may sound fluffy or poofy or whatever to you, go through the process because there's only 1 page in this overall. All right. So here's I'm going to take you through the first section. I'm going to take you through 2 sections right now. We're going to talk about what is my purpose. Like, why are you doing any of this? Why are you doing any of this? And the second is I'm going to take you to the 3190. Those are 2 things I'm going to take you through, and then Byron and I are going to share some cool tactical ideas with you overall. So the first version is this: why are you doing all of this? So for me, why am I doing all of this for me? And I will tell you why I'm doing all of this. I want to really kind of figure out my zone of genius, which is I want to figure out what I'm good at. I want to find what I'm really good at, and I want to work in that zone of genius for a long time. Because when the reason people end up burning out is they end up doing things that they're not good at and they don't enjoy. So if I can find my zone of genius and I can find it and work in it, I'll feel really good. So this is kind of like my bigger purpose. Well, what's the purpose for my team? Well, you may say, well, what is the purpose for your team? I'm going to make something up here. I'd say, well, the purpose on my team is for everyone on my team. I'm just making this up. I'm just giving you an example, to make over $100,000. So if my goal was everyone on my team should make more than $100,000, that's a really good purpose for me, because I want everybody on my team to have a good life and a good career. Okay. So the third is, well, why is this important for my family? Well, I'll tell you why. All of us are so connected to our phones. We take work at home and work with us everywhere we go. And my real big goal is I want to be present. I want to be present with my family. I want to be with them when I'm with them. And the only way I can be with them when I'm with them is if I have a plan to be with them when I'm with them. Otherwise, why am I doing all of this anyway? And last but not least, you're working today to build a bigger and better future. What does that mean? And I will tell you what that is. And it can be any kind of goal for you. You can say, hey, I want to have $1 million in savings, or I want to have $10 million in savings, or I want to buy a Porsche, or whatever. What is your future? And I will tell you, maybe a future that I've talked to a lot of us about is, hey, where your passive income is greater than your monthly expenses. If your passive income is greater than your monthly expenses, you are financially free. And there's a really positive thing, right? So this is kind of like my purpose, my why as to why I'm doing all this. This sets the stage for the thing I'm talking about. Now you're like, well, Sharran, okay, that's interesting. That's kind of foofy. I get it, but I'll do it anyway because you're telling me to do it. But let me give you the next thing. The thing that you want to really focus on is to make everything come to life. Like, how do you bring our vision to life here? And that is, this idea is what I call the 3-1-90. The 3-1-90 is the 3-year vision, the 1-year target, and the 90-day action. And you're like, well, Sharran, what does that mean? What is the 3-year vision, 1-year target? And I'll take you through it, right? Let me give you an example and something that I've actually been kind of working on. So each of these have a bunch of different domains in life. And so if you don't have the domain, it's very hard to actually map this out. So let me take you through this. So I will give you what I've been tracking as a personal goal. So whether you like this or not, I'll give you my 3-year vision on this. In 3 years, my HRV, my heart rate variability, which is a sign of energy and longevity in your life, I want my heart rate variability to be 25. Average heart rate variability to be 125. Right now, I will tell you what it is right now. Right now, it's 42. If I can get to 125, I'm like superhuman. It would be amazing if that can happen. Well, I'm not going to be able to get there in 3 years, in 1 year. So what would be my goal for 1 year? I just break that down into a 1-year target. If I can get to, in 1 year, if I get to an HRV of 75, that's really good. But here's the most important part. What is the 90-day action? What is the one thing that I can do in the next 90 days to make it actually work well? Well, I'll tell you what I need to do. I need to fix my sleep, because Byron travels a lot. I work a lot. And therefore, I don't sleep well because I just want to do more work. If I didn't have to sleep at all, I would just work all the time because I enjoy what I do. And so my 90-day action is, if I can just fix my sleep, I know I will be on track to go to doing that. HRV is called heart rate variability. It's just my goal. My curiosity for you is, what is yours? You may say, I want to lose some weight. You may say, I want to put on some, I want to put on some muscle. You may say, I want to, have better blood work. You may say, I want to reduce my blood glucose. Whatever that is. If you don't have the health and the energy and the vitality, you're not going to be able to do the things that you want to do for your life, all right? So that is number 1. Here's number 2, which is the brand. So from a brand perspective, what would I really want? And so I'll give you an example that I've been tracking, and you may think, Sharran, this is crazy. Well, I want 100 million impressions on social per month. Now you may say, well, Sharran, that's a lot. Well, it's not a lot really for someone like that has a BAM brand, like an Eric Simon or a Byron or me. Like, we track on it. Well, I'm not gonna be able to get 100 million in 3 years. Maybe that's just a goal. So what if I got to 25 million impressions, which I'm already there right now, by impressions per month in 1 year? Well, that's a lot. So now what would I do? What would I do the next 90 days if I wanted a big goal like this? Well, I don't know what to do. So what I would do is I would consult an expert. Now I know exactly what to do. I know exactly that I need to go consult an expert in the next 90 days to actually get myself a certain result. This makes the next 90 days very actionable. I'll give you the third one. The third one is relationships. Like, what do you want in your relationship? If you're a better relationship with your children, better relationship with your spouse or partner, better relationship with yourself, with God, what is it, right? So in the next 3 years, I want 10 YOLO experiences. What's a YOLO? You'll only live once. I want these 10 amazing experiences and memories that I want to create for my family. Well, if I want 10 in 3 years, what would that be in 1 year? Well, I want 3 in the next year. 3 YOLO experiences in the next year. By the way, I'm going somewhere with this. I'll get to your business stuff in a second, but I want to frame your life, because at the end of the day, you're actually running your business so you can have a better life. If you only run your business to have a better business, you will not have a good life, and then you'll just complain later. And that's what we want to do a little better, right? That's our kind of eventual goal here. Oops, sorry, wrong slide. So if I have one, so what would I do in the next 90 days? I would plan one YOLO trip. So I want you to see the pattern of how this is working. It's not hard. You're going with me on this, but I'm able to take a big goal 3 years out, take a smaller goal 1 year out, and figure out this 90-day action. So now this 90-day column, I know I can actually act on, right? Which is good. All right, now let's talk about income. Maybe you say, I'll make up some numbers for one of you. Maybe you say, hey, you know what? I want to make $1 million in GCI. Cool. If you're going to make $1 million in GCI in 3 years, you can't go from 100,000 to a million. That's kind of hard. That will be hard to do. Okay, well, if that's the case, then maybe you make your 1 year goal is to make $350,000 in GCI. Awesome. Well, if it's 1 year goal is to make $350,000 in GCI, what should you do right now? Well, you may say, well, right now, Sharran, the only way I can do that is I rebuild my database. Because right now I don't even have a good one. Well, if you rebuild your database with your Sphere, with your SOI, with your current leads, you may be able to pull out a lot of gold from your database. So that's a good 90-day action, right? And the last part is the wealth part. Now I'm going to make up a bunch of things on the wealth part. So let's actually think about that. So you may say, hey, my wealth is, I want to have $1 million in savings, or I want to have 2 Bitcoin. I'm just making this up. Or I want to have 10K in passive income. Maybe all 3. Maybe you say I want, $1 million in savings and 2 Bitcoin and $10,000 in passive income. Well, if that's the case, let's break it down. Maybe in 1 year, you need 100,000 in savings and I don't know, 0.5 Bitcoin. You're seeing how I'm breaking this down, and $3,000 in passive income. Well, what does that mean? How do you actually operationalize that? What would be the thing that I would do? Well, the thing that I would do, so let's say you are a part of a Real or EXP or some other revenue share program, and you think that, hey, I can actually build passive income this way, or you want to buy rental properties. You're like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll do 10 attraction meetings. Maybe that becomes a goal. So now you know if you did that in the next 90 days, you're able to start to build your passive income goal. And that starts to help. So the reason I'm sharing all of this, so if you got the big pieces on this, put a 1 in the chat for section number 1, put a 1 in the chat for section number 1. I'm going to take you to the rest. Okay, the key here is for you to really get this idea that if you don't set the stage, we honestly spent 8 minutes doing this, but if you don't set the stage, it's very hard to do the rest. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is if you take no idea away from this, right? I love for Byron to chime in a second. If you take no idea away from this, I want to tell you about what I call the 4 profitable assets. These 4 profitable assets, I'm actually going to show you what they are, how to build them, and how to actually put them into your plan. In the past years, I would just add stuff to this plan. I would add the what, but not show you the how. And today I'm actually going to show you the how in this process. So Byron, in this first couple of sections, anything that stand out for you that you'd like to share or call out for the folks?
I mean, the health category stands out to me the most. I mean, 10 plus years ago, I modeled what you have taught so many, the morning routine, right? The 5 a.m. club that you've been running for, I don't know how long.
14 years.
Right. So that whole entire, mindset and practice of being up early, clearing the deck, eliminating my workout routine early in the morning, because if I wait for the nighttime, it never happens. Right. And so that's something I've built into my business plan year after year, simplified it. I used to think the same way we think about a business plan. I need this long morning routine, complicated, try everything that everybody's suggesting. No, my morning routine is like 3 things. It's a large water consumption, it's hitting the gym, and it's the same healthy breakfast. Those are the 3 things that I do for my morning routine. And that's been tweaked down from a list of 20 things over time. But starting there allows me to start my day each and every day on the right step, on the right path.
So good, man. So good. Awesome. All right, Byron, let's jump to these 4 profitable assets. I think this is the interesting part for everybody. So, hey, everybody, this is going to be fun. And I'm gonna turn on some cool action for all of you. And I think Byron's going to have some great topics for us. So, Bobby, get me back on, and I'll share this with you. All righty. So, let me show you this. I want to talk to you about this big idea, which is the 4 profitable assets. So please let me explain what they are. The 4 profitable assets are these 4 assets. If you had in your business, you will crush it, right? And I want you to think about this before we start. Just think about this. The 4 profitable assets are: 1, an organized compounding database. If your database gets bigger, you will win. If you have 500 people in there today and you have 1,000 people in there tomorrow, you will win, right? The second is a beloved community brand. Real estate is we all know, is local. If you have a great community brand, you will win. If you are Ken Pozak in Orlando doing, Mr. Orlando right now, you will win, right? If you're Alyssa Carnot in Spokane, Washington, you will win because Alyssa has done such a good job of owning that Spokane market, right? Small things like that, where if you build and own the community brand, you will win. Here's the third one, which is an impressive online presence. You're kidding yourself if you think that the clients are not Googling you. You're kidding yourself, right? So what is this impressive online presence that keeps paying you over and over again? And last but not least, if you want to do anything, first you should join BAMX. But most importantly, you got to figure out, like, what is my content system? And what is my content system? Regardless of what type of agent you are, you need some form of content system. These 4 things are super, super important. So before we start on this entire thing, right? Before we start, I want to start with this organized compounding database. And in the chat, I want you to give yourself a score of A, B, or C. A, your database is amazing. B, it could use some work. C, it could use a lot of work. A, it's amazing. B, it could use some work. C, it could use a lot of work. Okay, well, thank you for the honesty. And I'm going to show you how to make your database really good right now, which I think you will really appreciate. So here's the organized compounding database. Hey, by the way, the reason Byron and I are actually doing this, where normally in this plan, I would just tell you, oh, you need to organize your database, and I would go to the next one. And you'd be like, well, Sharran told me to organize my database. I don't know what to actually do. Like, tell me the what right here. So I'm not just telling you like, hey, what to put in your plan, but giving you some ideas of what you can actually do. So to take you through that, which is why I want to make this really practical for you. So let's kind of think through this. So this organized compounding database, and there are 3 big pieces to the organized compounding database. The first big piece to the organized compounding database is to first organize your database. Most people don't know how to organize it. Some people organize it as A, B's, and C's, hot, mediums, colds. I'm not worried about how you organize it. I'm going to give you a way to do it right now if you don't have a way of doing it. But you need to have a way to organize your database. Otherwise, you have a big list of people and you don't know what to do with them, and there's no way to print money from it. The second is you got to actually engage with the organized database. Otherwise, you have a bunch of names and no real action that goes with that. And the third is it doesn't matter if you have an organized database and you actually engage with them. If you don't grow it, your business will actually tumble. So all 3 need to work in sync. That's why I call it an organized compounding database. So let me take you to the first idea. The first idea, if you don't have a way to organize your database right now, I'm going to teach you something called the 5-star prospect. All right. Here's how the 5-star prospect method works. Star number 1. A lot of people will tell me this. A lot of people will say, oh, Sharran, you know what? I have online leads suck. And I'm like, no, online leads don't suck. We suck. Because we don't know actually how to actually manage these online leads. No one taught you the skill of doing that. And so when someone is like, well, the online leads suck, well, why? They don't understand the organization of their database. So let me explain what that actually means to you. So the first star in your database, you don't have a 5-star prospect. The first star in your database is when someone is willing to engage in a dialogue. If you generate a lead and they're not even willing to engage, it's not that the lead sucks. The lead is a 0-star lead. So number 1, they're willing to engage in a dialogue. So you should tag them. Hey, I've been talking to this guy, Sharran. He just keeps engaging with me, but he's like haphazard. So he's a 1-star. Number 2, they're friendly and collaborative. That means they actually will joke with you. You can actually send them stuff. You can put an emoji in there. They're actually friendly and collaborative. So now you actually have more rapport. Number 3, they're a 3-star only if you get to this point. The 3-star is they know what they want, right? You're not instantly trying to get them on the phone because they don't want to talk to you. You just think that you can always just call random people in your database because somebody 45 years ago told you that you need to get somebody on the phone. This is 2025, 2026. Like, they don't want to talk to you unless they're ready to talk to you. So you need to know what they want. You're like, hey man, I've been talking to Byron and I know he wants a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, with like 14 pools in Naples. If it doesn't have 14 pools, I'm not going to buy it. Like, that Byron's not going to buy it. He needs to have 14 pools, right? One for me, one for Eric, and one for like all his other friends. It's like the greatest thing. But you know what he wants. But that's a 3-star prospect. If you know what Byron wants, it's a 3-star prospect. But now, if you know when he wants it, but you say, hey, Byron needs a 4-bedroom, 4-bath with 14 pools, and he has to move in by June 2026. Now you know when he wants it. Now it's a 4-star prospect. That's why you can start to have your questions be based on trying to get people across the stars. And number 5, and 5 alone, is they want you to help them. So if you actually went through, like 30 people in your database and you just categorize them as 1, 2, 3, 4s, and 5s, now you know exactly how to actually monetize your database, because then you will know that if you wanted to print money quickly, you would just exquisitely follow up with the 4s, because you know that when they want it. Otherwise, you have no idea who to call, and you're like, did you make your calls today? I'm like, it doesn't matter that you called 19 people that were 1 stars. You could have called 4 people that were 4 stars, right? Like, that's why this is really important. So really easy to do. I want to make sure everyone is in a good spot when they're doing this. If you feel good about this, just give me just type star in the chat. Just give me a star in the chat. That way I feel like you know exactly how this works. Okay, cool. Awesome. So you have a method for this. You will get the slides. If you want this right now, just take a picture. That way you know it's a very easy way to categorize your database. Let me give you the second big idea. We talked about engaging your database. Well, you're crazy not to do a good job of engaging your database. And I want to show you, this is my friend Connie Alexander in Birmingham, Alabama. And she sends out, we talk about this idea called the deal of the week. Now, the crazy part is most of us send out newsletters and something fancy and recipes and like a summer drink. Like, who made us the purveyor of sending out summer drink recipes? Who made us the responsible party for sending out, that you have to change the clocks? Who made us the responsible party for doing that? And the reason who made us? So what is you're like, I want to be a trusted advisor like an attorney, but my attorney doesn't send out like you need to set your clocks forward. Like, you have an iPhone, like the clock resets itself. You don't need to do anything, right? So we send dumb stuff. And the point here is you want to send things that actually get people to engage and realize that you are in the business of selling real estate, right? And that's the way to do this without actually priming and prodding them. So this is called the deal of the week. If you don't, if you're in the BAMX community, there's a full training on the deal of the week. It has all the training, all the resources, and it also has access to a GPT that writes the deal of the weeks for you. You don't even have to write this, right? We built this for you. So I want you to see one thing that Connie did in this message, which is she says, hey, we've reviewed this deal. Here's 5 bullet points about the home, and there's a price in bold. The most important part about this email is that it says, if you're interested, just reply and I will get you all the details. If you're interested, just reply and I'll get you all the details. That is the most important part. Now, what you're seeing is this. The deal of the week has 3 important things. It has no address, no pictures, and no links. No address, no pictures, and no links. Because if there's no address, if there are no pictures, and there are no links, what happens is it forces a reply. And when you reply, you get in conversation, and all conversion happens in conversation. That is our job. Our job is to engage the database by actually sending out these once a week deal of the weeks so you can engage with your database well. If you don't engage with it, then once in a while when you have a listing, it goes into spam. So this is your second idea for actually engaging with the database, right? Let me give you a third one. This is what Eric and Byron and our BAM folks did to invite you to this call, right? So you saw this little cartoon thing, and many of you are here because you saw this. It says, hey, build this business plan with Sharran. It has a lot of the screenshot and it says comment the word plan and I'll send you the link. Well, many of you need to learn how to do this, this is how you grow your database, right? So this is a tool called ManyChat. And if you notice, it says, hey there, here's the link. They click the link and they send in the link to the database. This tool responds automatically. There's a full training in the BAMX community that explains how this actually works, right? Now, some of you may say, hey, Sharran, I'm not going to get hundreds of responses. I don't need this. That's okay. But at least there's a way to grow your database in all of this. So that's what I wanted to show you. So the thing that I want to show you here is this big idea of, if you had to organize and grow your database and you only did one thing this year, what would it be? So that's what I want to break down for you. So the goals that I would write here are, what would I do to build an organized compounding database? So the first thing that I would do is I would implement the 5-star prospect system. I would just tag all my people as 5-star prospects, so I know exactly who I can actually follow up with. Second is exactly what I talked about. I would start a deal of the week email, right? The third thing that I would do is, if you're interested, I would set up this ManyChat automation or find another way to grow my database. Now, I'm putting these 3 things in here because I showed you these 3 ideas. Your job here is to figure out what would be the 1 or 2 things that you can do. Oops, sorry for the double. What would be the 1 or 2 things that you can do? It's actually really fun. Do you want to see 2 Sharrans on the screen at the same time? You know, this is how you know it's not AI and it's actually real, right? Okay. So your job is to figure out, hey, what can I do in my database right now to actually grow it, actually organize it? Because if you do this in a year, you have a very profitable asset in your business, right? And that's what's important. All right, cool. Let me get to the next big idea, which is you want to build a beloved community brand. So I'm going to ask you guys this one more time, which is if you feel like you have a very beloved community brand, put an A. If you have a pretty good one, but you need to improve it, put a B. And if you're like, man, I really, really, really need to improve it, put a C. All right, so got a lot of A's and B's in here. Really, really good job. You have a lot of A's and B's. Fantastic job that you guys are thinking about. That's awesome. Now, let's find a way to supercharge this in some way, right? So let me show you how you can actually build a beloved community brand. And it's super important. So let me show you how this works. So there's 3 things that are required to build a beloved community brand. The first thing is reciprocity. Reciprocity is you are doing something for somebody and they feel like they need to do something back for you. The second is generosity. And the third is competence. Let me explain each of these. It's not just reciprocity, it's overwhelming reciprocity. If Byron does something for my family, I'm like, man, that guy went out of his way to do something for my family. I feel the sense of reciprocity to Byron. I feel like I need to do something to get to help him back. I feel like any opportunity that I get to support him, serve, work with him, I should do that. And we need to figure out what to do. And I'll give you a couple of cool things associated with that. The second thing is this overwhelming generosity. I will tell you, you will get paid more for the things you don't get paid to do, right? The more you do things that you don't get paid, the more the universe will pay you. So what is this overwhelming generosity? Where can you show up without asking for anything in return? What can you do there and build a local community brand? And the third is competence. Let me explain competence to you for a second. Competence is more people will actually refer people that they know that they're pretty good, right? So I'll tell you a funny story. When I was a banker at Goldman Sachs, if you don't know, is a lot of people are like, well, Goldman Sachs, bad bank, big bank and Wall Street, etc. But Goldman Sachs is considered one of the best or the best bank in the world, investment bank in the world. And when I was pitching my first client, I thought I did a great job. I worked really hard for like 6-ish months, and I pitched this client. And finally, I asked the client, they chose to work with us. And I asked him, hey, so tell me, you were talking to other banks. Why did you choose working with us? And you know what he told me? He said, you don't get fired. You don't get fired as a CEO for choosing Goldman Sachs. It was not Sharran. He had just chosen Goldman Sachs, and because it has this ultimate sign of competence. So what does that actually mean for us? What does it mean for us? And here's what it means. I was like, you need 3 things. You need reciprocity, generosity, and competence. Well, how can I generate reciprocity? Maybe I do 3 local drives. And when I say drives, I mean, maybe there's a food bank drive, maybe there's an electronics drive, maybe there's a recyclables drive. But if you know this, when someone has to sign up for a drive, they actually have to give you their information. And they're like, wait a minute, this guy Sharran came in, he picked up food for my thing, he's given it to the troops, etc. I feel a sense of reciprocity, but it also helps you build your local brand because you're servicing them in some way. Again, I'm making up ideas. Your job is to come up with what can you do to build a beloved local brand. The second is the generosity component. And the generosity component is, what if you just picked one charity? One charity where you went all in. By the way, the only recommendation I would have for you is don't pick 7 charities in your local community. It's very hard to service all of them. But what if you only picked one charity in the local community and you did something with it? But the third most important thing, I will tell you this. The third most important thing is, what if, to do competence, what if you did $100 a month? I think, it's a modest budget, $100 a month, and you just ran Facebook ads to your community. You took your last piece of content that performed really well, and you just blasted it out to your zip code. More people will see more of you, and they will think more that you have more competence. And now that will build a more beloved local community brand. Again, this is an asset. You have to build an asset. If you don't build an asset, they won't know who to go to, and you'll be worried that someone else is taking your business. Right? So our job is to figure out a couple things to do here. All right, I'm going to give you 2 more things really quick because the last one is my favorite. Let me give you this. Oops. I want to talk about impressive online presence. And I think the online presence is really important. So let me actually talk you through this. You should Google and ChatGPT yourself. You should ask, hey, when people look up Byron Lazine, what do they ask for? What comes up? You should look them up here, which is really, really important. And the crazy part is everyone is searching, and your job is to look good online. If there's anything that you take a lot of this, I would explain this to you. Your job is to look good online. If you don't look good online, you will lose a lot of business because people are always doing a little search before they're actually hiring you. People start online first. They don't call their favorite agent first. Your job is to look good online. Now, how do you look good online? You need to look good online both specifically and generically. And let me explain what that means. In the specific world, reviews are very specific. Reviews are social proof. They're like, hey, Byron Lazine did this. Reviews are very specific. And that's good because it builds an online brand for you. What's generic? Generic is articles and social competence and blogs, right? So right now I would put a chat, Jason Cassidy does a great, and Eric Simon did a great walkthrough about this topic of how you can use AI to generate a lot of blogs that actually rank very high in search engine, because they say, hey, what are the topics that are currently being searched about real estate in San Diego, California? It gives you the topics, it gives you the headlines, it gives you the blogs, and you actually copy paste and write those blogs on it. When you do that, when people search, you get much better ranking with it overall, right? So now you get a chance to actually build a really thoughtful and competitive online brand. So let's actually talk about what we do here. What is the impressive online presence we can build? Really simple. I'm making this up, by the way. So if you said reviews, you may say, you know what I want to do? I want to get 100 reviews on Google. If that is your goal, that is a great goal. But you got to do it because now you have a sprint to getting those 100 reviews. And the second would be, hey, you know what? I want to get 50 SEO articles on my blog. By the way, 50 seems like a lot. Don't let that freak you out. Again, double Sharran here, right? It's one per week. And AI writes most of this for you. And you may say, well, Sharran, that's not me. That's not my voice. I'm like, well, sure, that's the case, but you're going to get business. Do you want your voice or do you want business? Right? A lot of people are like, that's not my voice. That's not my color. That's not my jam. That's not my theme. For generic things online, you're just ranking higher. No one's stopping and reading your blog and thinking, is this in the voice of Byron? Like nobody is doing that, right? And so, but you need to have an impressive online presence, which is really important. All right, here's the last part of it. Now, I need your focus and your attention. I'm going to show you something right now that I shared recently. That is probably some of my best insights from the last 6-ish months of working with the acquisition.com media team. We have probably the largest media business empire in the world, and building three of our brands. And I want to give you the learnings from this. So this will be the kind of the entire value of today from a content perspective, and I'll show you how BAM can implement this for you. So if you're not paying attention, please pay attention right now. All right. So you should screenshot this. Your expertise is worth more as content than it is as labor. Think about that for a second. You know what we want to do? We work so hard and we say, hey, I'm going to show you how smart I am. I'm going to do all these free consultations. I'm going to actually put out all this marketing so that in 3 months that you hire me. And so that then I can go work my ass off for you. Instead, how amazing would it be if your content did all the marketing for you? Your expertise is worth way more as content than it is as labor, right? And if you can flip that in your mind, powerful things happen. But the question you may ask is, hey, but Sharran, how do I get all this expertise? I can't post a lot of content. I can't post a lot of videos. Like, how is this even true? Let me play this for you.
How the hell did you guys get 30 million followers? You post 100 times a day?
Yes.
You can post 100 times a day. The platform is incentivized to distribute your content to as many people as possible to retain attention. I think it absolutely just comes down to a quality metric, which is how many times can you post good stuff? There's an Instagram page that's in Bollywood that posts 100 times a day and gets like 9 billion views. The thing is that not the same people are going to see every post. And so right now, when you make a post, only 1 or 2% of your audience likely see it. And so if you make 10 more posts, it might just show to other people in your audience that aren't the first people who saw it.
That's crazy, right? And somebody somewhere in the world who has no concept of social media told you that you need to post once a day. Once is such an arbitrary number. That's the problem with all of this, right? And so I want to tell you this. There are 2 proven ways in which you can create viral content that has massive reach. The 2 ways are these. Number 1 is you package what works. Number 2, you validate what wins. And I want to show you exactly what that means. Here's how you package what works. This single question will change everything in your life. And that is to ask the question, why did something go viral? right? I want to show you this. Please watch these 3 videos. I'm going to like flip through them really quick. Watch the first one. Watch the first part of it.
If you're trying to build a personal brand, then this is the one type of content I think everybody should be making. And the beauty of this is it's probably the easiest piece of content you will ever make. And it's this one, the post that says,
okay, what did he say? If you're trying to build a personal brand, this is the one type of content you need to see, and let me show you some proof. Well, look at what Neil does exactly with this video.
If you want to buy a home, but you're worried about these high rates and payments, check this out. There's a new program that's available for certain communities within all the markets across the country. Now, this is Las Vegas.
What did he do? If you want to buy a home and you're worried about the monthly payments, then check this out, right? And then he showed you the proof. That was Neil 2024. It crushed, right? Now, even better is Neil did the same thing in 2025 with the same exact hook. Watch this one.
So if you want to buy a home, but you're worried about the high prices and payments, check this out. This is a brand new home in a beautiful community in Las Vegas.
Did you see what he did? It's the same thing. It's the same packaging. It worked really well. So he did the same thing again. This is what's important. When the packaging works, it doesn't matter what it is. You want to take the best possible packaging and put your content inside of it. That's how things go viral, right? So I'll give you this example. I was talking about the deal of the week, and my team sent me this thing that said, hey, are you going to talk about the deal of the week? When you say something, I want you to say these words. I want you to say, this is the best email that you can send, right? I want you to say that. Well, I watch this video.
This is the best email that we ever sent. It's called the deal of the week. I have a client who sells watches.
What did I do? I did exactly what my team said to me, and then I took that packaging and I made it work. Now watch this. Watch this first 6 seconds of the packaging on this one.
If you live in Northwest Washington, D.C., this message is for you. I've got a private client looking to purchase a 4-bedroom home.
Okay, if you live in Northwest Washington, D.C., this message is for you. I have a private client that is looking to do blah, blah, blah. Same exact thing. Look at the separate packaging.
If you know anybody who lives in the Bell Oaks neighborhood right by 46 in Blanco, this message is for you. I have a private...
What was it? It's the same exact thing. It's a completely different market, completely different idea. And it doesn't matter if you're in a first home market, second home market, third home market, 18th home market, 14 pool market. Nothing matters. Your content is, you have to take your content and put it into packaging that works. As soon as you think, oh, I live in New York City, my market is different, you are going to fail. As soon as you think I live in New York City and my market is different, you are going to fail. I'm in LA, my market is different, you are going to fail. The content works the same everywhere. You got to take your content and put it in the right packaging. Otherwise, it will not work. That's why this is important, right? And the more you deny this, the more you kid yourself, the less it's going to actually work for you, right? I'm going to show you this very quickly. I had this video that I made has been redone and copied by agents 5,300 times. 5,300 times word for word. And I told them that they can do it. Watch the first part of this.
If you've ever thought about selling your home and listing it for sale, there's a little inside baseball term that we use in the real estate industry called buying the listing.
All right, watch this.
If you've ever thought about selling your home and listing it for sale, there's a little inside baseball term that we use. It's called buying the listing.
Okay, I wanted agents to do this because it's a good video, because the content and the packaging works perfectly. So your job is to take a screenshot of this. You want to find viral content. You want to ask, why did it go viral? You want to analyze the structure. You want to put your idea into it, and then you want to make it go live. You don't have to come up with a new idea every time. Your job is not to make a music video. Your job is to take an existing piece of packaging and put your content into it. That is how you win, right? Let me give you the second one. You got to validate what wins. This is a crazy story. So check this out. I made this post on Twitter about how an LLC won't protect you. It got an insane number of views. It got like 100,000 views on Twitter, which is crazy. Then I did the same thing on LinkedIn. It got 240,000 views on LinkedIn. Then I did the same thing on Instagram. It got 1.5 million views on Instagram. Then I made a podcast about it. I just took the same working idea and just redid it in every other platform, which means that if you make a post that does really well, if you make a reel that does really well, you should convert the reel into different ideas, because make the reel a carousel, make the carousel a LinkedIn post. You know why? Because the idea has been validated. Most people just don't do that. That's crazy. Here's the crazy post. I made this LinkedIn post about how it took me 39 interviews to get a job at Goldman Sachs. It got 226,000 views. Then it got some nasty views because people on Reddit started talking crap about it. I was like, this is amazing, because that means it's really working. And then I did this YouTube video. I'll play the first few seconds for you. I got 3.5 million views.
39 one-on-one interviews to get a job at Goldman Sachs. 39 individual one-on-one interviews. I walk into one of the...
So you don't need to see it, but then a top Wall Street Instagram account picks it up. The #1 Indian website picks it up saying Indian entrepreneur does blah, blah, blah. And then Fortune magazine picks it up. Like, this is crazy, because the social media post went viral. They all took a validated piece of content and wrote something about it. And I wanted you to see that because the biggest lesson is this. You got to validate content, double down, and do the same thing over and over again. The more you try to get creative, the less this is going to work. And so here's the SOP. You post a bunch of ideas, you look for a validated idea, you create content under the idea, and if it works, you put it on all the platforms. And that's what this is important. So I'm telling you all of this for one important reason. So let's actually tell you about like, what does this content system actually do for you? So you should figure out what this content system does for you. The first one I would do right now is hyperlocal. Right? If you're not following the viral agent, you should, right? Entire group of agents that are actually doing this are telling you how they're actually doing that. If you don't do hyperlocal right now, you're going to lose because that is the biggest trend that's working right now. The second is you may say, well, how else do I get content, Sharran? I'm making this up. I'd be like, hey, get on 10 podcasts. That's one podcast a month for the next 10 months. Can you actually do that? It'll make you better. And third, maybe you make like 2 new lead magnets. And I'm making this up because I'm just saying, hey, what can I do here? Because when you put this inside of this content system, you're like, what can I do to actually make a better content system in all of this? Like, this is super important. So now I will tell you, these 4 profitable assets, if you just did this and you just stopped right now, if you did nothing else, and we didn't even go to page 2, you will win big time, right? By the way, there's a question about lenders, etc. If you sell in a local market, you do hyperlocal. If you don't sell in a local market, you don't do hyperlocal. That's all this is, right? All right, I'm going to spend the next like 6 minutes giving you some actual numbers behind all of this so that you can get the right data points in all of this stuff. So can you guys give me a 2 for page 2 so I can kind of fly through page 2 with you? Okay, awesome. I'm right on track from a numbers perspective. So Byron will tell you this. I've seen him coach his team on this one, which is this. The real estate business is about 2 things: conversations and appointments, right? So you take only conversations are going to get you more appointments, because then we know that when you get appointments, then it's a skill perspective. Then you actually will work on the contract. So yeah, it's conversations and contracts, but I need appointments. If you don't get appointments, you don't win. If you wake up in the morning and you have 10 appointments every day, you will have 0 problem in the real estate business. So I want to take you through, like, what do you know from a perspective of like, how many conversations do you have on a certain day? Let me take you to this math. Different people will disagree with this math. I'm giving you a general approach on how to actually do this math. All right. So just go with the idea here. The idea is, let's say I'm going to do a deal perspective. Let's say I want to do 12 transactions this year, right? So like if I do 12 transactions, so essentially, let's say, 12 months, 3 transactions a month. So that's 36 deals total. So I want to do 3 deals a month. Based on your market, you may say, Sharran, I only need to do 1 deal a month because my average sales price is $92 million. I understand. Right? So let's say you want to do 36 transactions for the year. Well, the second row here essentially says, I want you to take 36 transactions and multiply it by 59, because the math that we have found is roughly 59 conversations gets you 1 deal. That is, I did the math here before we started, it's 2,124 conversations for the year. Well, that's for the year. So how many conversations per month? Well, I know that you all roughly don't work 12 months out of the year, so just take 1 month off, right? So you have 11 months. So 2,124 divided by 11 is what, right? I wrote it down, is 193, right? Now the 193 is on a monthly basis. Well, I know that you're not working 30 days a month. So you take 193 and you divide it by 20 days, which means you're taking weekends off, etc. That is roughly 9.5 conversations per day, which means your daily conversation number is, if you had 10 conversations a day, 10 active real estate conversations a day. If you could have 10 active real estate conversations a day, you will hit your 36 number goal. Most people don't want to do this math, right? Now, the smart Alex in the room are like, well, Sharran, I'm really good because I don't need 59 conversations. That is false. Because at scale, unless you have a massive number of leads coming in, you still have to have a conversation. So it is impossible unless you're getting 1 referral for 1 deal and that's all you get. It is impossible that this happens. It means you don't even have, you only are going to talk to 59 people a year or 36 people a year. That doesn't work. This is to give you the highest likelihood of success. Now, there's a good topic that says, what is a conversation? Now, let me give you the very simple way of thinking about what is a real estate conversation. If you're talking about real estate, as in buying, selling, or renting their home in some way, or the mechanics around it, and they're not under contract yet, they need to be talking about buying, selling, or renting a home, and the mechanics, investing, of course, buying, selling, renting, or investing, and their mechanics around it. If you have a conversation with them, and by the way, this can be text or email or whatever, If you're actively engaging with the person, the interesting part is they have to engage back with you. Just because you send an email does not count as a conversation. They have to engage back with you in this conversation, right? Buying, selling, renting, or investing, or actually having a conversation with them, that is a conversation. You can't talk to your coach and that does not count as a conversation. You can be like, hey, Sharran, can this count as 3 of my conversations today? No, like, don't kid yourself. All right. So that is that. Let's use that number. That number is really important. So if you are not paying attention, I want to talk to you about this because I'm not going to take you the whole thing, but I really think that just this alone, because we're talking about the daily thing, the daily activities, I think this would be really, really helpful to you. So on this one, we talked about this idea of the deal of the week. We said, hey, I'm going to do this activity called the deal of the week. And I will tell you, this is where most agents trip up. And I want to show you how you can bring this to life, right? So if the activities are, you want to do email marketing, people just stop there. I want you to always think about the Fantastic Four. Anytime someone tells you to do something, I always want you to put it in this format. Because when you put it in this format, everything becomes really easy. So to do email marketing, what do you need to know? What skill do you need to have? The skill is you need to, I'm making it up, you need to write good. If you write good, you can do some good email marketing. If you check out Byron and Eric's email marketing, they're awesome, right? You need to write good, essentially good copy, right? So you need a skill for that. Okay, good. What is the system? Well, you need the deal of the week system. You need to know exactly how it works, when to send it, how to send it, use the GPT, all of that, right? And what kind of support do you need? Well, you just go to BAMX and you get all the info. So now you're like, hey, now when someone says email marketing, you just don't be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is. Now you know exactly what it is. You have the full plan. You know what it is, what the skills are, what the system is, and what support do you need. I will give you one more of this, right? So you can understand overall. So you may say, all right, Sharran, I want to do, I'll make this up. I want to do hyperlocal content, right? If you say, I want to do hyperlocal. Well, what skills do you need? Well, you need to be like Alyssa Carnot and talk like a reporter. You're not going to have that skill on day one. It's going to take a minute to build that skill. Otherwise, your videos are not going to perform. You're going to say my videos are not performing. And that's actually because you don't have the skill. You've not learned that. It's okay. Right? And then you're like, well, what system do I need? Well, you need some kind of production system where you need to know what type of topics you're talking about, how it's actually done, whether it's a green screen, how it actually gets posted, when it gets posted, what is the copy, you need that, right? And what support do you need? Well, maybe you just go to the Viral Agent Instagram and you watch what everyone else is doing and you get the result. So anytime, what I want from you on this one is anytime someone tells you, hey, Byron, you should do this, or hey, Sharran, you should do this, you should not do it because it will break. You should say, okay, somebody wants me to call expireds. Well, what does that mean? Well, what skills do I need? Well, I need this. I need the scripts and the presentation. Okay, great. What system do I need? I need to go find an expired script system. All right, like who do I need? Like who can help me? I need to go talk to 3 people or watch 3 interviews on the BAM channel about expireds. Otherwise, you don't know. Your job is to figure out. Anytime someone gives you an activity, figure out the activity, figure out the skills, figure out the systems and the support. All right, so this is the Fantastic Four. Very, very important. If you like the Fantastic Four idea, can you give me an F4 in the chat, Fantastic Four? That way I know that you're thinking about this. Okay, awesome, awesome. All right, I got the last 2 pieces of this puzzle, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Byron, right? If there's a lot of folks, Byron, that we've talked about who are building their teams and bringing agents on their team. So if it's you, that's great. So I think we have kind of 3 types of people on the call. Types of folks, number 1 is you have a team or you want to grow a team, right? Type of people, number 2 is you have a brokerage and you want to attract agents to your brokerage. Type of agent number 3 is you are a part of a revenue share program, which is great, and you want to attract agents to your network, right? Those are if you are one of the 3 where you're a team leader and you want agents, if you're a brokerage and you want to attract people and you are in revenue share and you want to grow your revenue share network, can you just put a me in the chat? Emmy, just put a me in the chat. That way I know that, okay, so a lot of us, this is really great. So I think it's important for all of you to know like how you want attraction as a part of your business plan, because attraction is an important part of how we actually do business right now. So I want to give you some ideas on attraction and the plan that you can use for attraction as well. All right, so let me actually take you through this. So if you took attraction as a goal, the first thing that I would start with is this. So I'm going to make up some numbers. Today you may say, hey, you know what, I currently have 10 agents on the team and I want to get to 25. Cool. So that is a nice goal. So I would write that down. Then what are the 5 like attraction projects you're going to do in the next year? By the way, think about this. A problem is just a project in disguise. Some of you wanted to take a screenshot of the Fantastic Four. Go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. 1, 7, 10. Okay, good. That's a
countdown.
Byron math. All right. So on the attraction stuff. So the first thing that I would do if I was building an attraction plan for you is I would say, hey, I would create a value prop. Why should someone work with you? Plus a presentation. Like you would not show up to Byron and say, let me talk to you about this. You're like, you would present. This is a sales presentation. Your listing presentation to a seller is the same as your attraction presentation to an agent. You don't just sit there and ask them about their goals. You got to sell them on this idea, right? The second one, I would say, hey, maybe you want 30 people to see you. You make a target list. I know this sounds really simple. You make a target list, make up the numbers. You want 25 people, so you'd make a target list of 50 people. Assume that the first 50 you talk to, actually you get 50% rate. And then you, by the way, you should follow and engage with them, engage with all 50 on social. How do you expect to just text them and have them respond to your calls? That doesn't work. Like you got to follow and engage with them on social, right? If you see what BAM does, what does BAM do? They just give so much to the industry. I would do at least one educational Zoom where you share something that is really good that you teach with no expectation of anything in return. Now that builds goodwill in the community. And then maybe you invite 5 agents to BAMania or an event or your own event. So now you can actually meet with them in person. By the way, if you did all of this, you will grow your network. You will grow your brokerage. You will grow your team. Most people are like, oh, I don't want to do this. But now you have a plan in front of you. So I just give you some ideas around this. All right. Last but not least, by the way, last year when I did this, one of the agents that took this plan, she sent me a text message about my plan. And she said to me, she's like, Sharran, I got stuck and I didn't know how to move forward. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, my content, she said, my content is not working. So you know that obstacle could occur. Well, what does that mean? So right now, if you know that obstacle could occur, what would be the plan that you would put in place right now so that when it does happen, you don't get stuck, right? So you say, hey, well, if I get stuck, then I'm going to do the 10,000 iterations rule. So it's not about 10,000 hours. It's about 10,000 iterations because my job is only to learn. I don't care about what I do this year. I'm just going to post 3 videos a day and I will just learn. So that way you're not worried about your content working. You're just worried about getting the reps. Again, maybe that is not the answer. All I'm saying is I want you to envision the problem and then instantly come up with a plan so that you can fix it right away. I'll give you another example. So maybe you have inconsistent follow-up. If you have inconsistent follow-up and you know you're going to do this and this is an obstacle, what do? You do the not going to bed rule. You say, you know what, Sharran, I am not going to bed any day.
Unless is the Sharran rule.
Yeah, I'm not going to bed any day unless I do my 9.5 contacts. I'm just not going to go to bed. When you do that, it will instantly fix your follow-up problem. The reason here is really important is because if you don't outline these obstacles now, you won't be able to fix the plan later because you're going to be frustrated. Right? That's what's super, super important. All right. So before I get to the last part of this, I want to make sure you're feeling good about all of this. So can you just give me like a G in the chat for good? I went through all of this. Byron, what I'll also do is I'll take the worksheet that I made and we'll include that as a draft so people can see both what I wrote as well as to give them ideas around it.
And we talked about this at the top, guys. That's a living document. Doesn't mean that in 2 months you can't make a tweak. If you find a breakthrough in your business and you're going to double down on it, tweak the living document. And Sharran's going to give you the example of his living document. Sharran, you asked me when you went through the first section, what stood out to me. I said health, right? It's something that everybody can do. It's easy to do. You just have to start and have a plan on doing it. There's 2 other components to this plan. And a lot of people are probably feeling like there's a lot here, because there is a lot here. And that's why it takes you longer than 60 minutes. That's why we're going over 60 minutes on this session. But two other things stood out to me. And the first one is database, because that is the health system of your business. So health stood out to me of like, okay, how can I get started and be my best every single day on a personal level? Well, what's the health of my business? It's the database. And you were talking about the organization of the database. And a lot of that comes down to the language that you're going to use. Sharran gave you guys the 5-star system as a language. He offered up other examples, ABC, hot, cold, whatever, right? If you think about language, like Sharran said, it doesn't matter what you pick. This is my terrible sketch of a football offense, okay? You don't need to know football to follow along. But if you're the tight end and you run this route, okay, some teams call this the 7 route. Some teams call it the corner route. Some teams call it a flag route. It all means the same thing. You're going to run 10, 12 yards and you're going to run to the corner of the end zone. It doesn't matter what they call it, but everybody on the New York Giants calls it one route. Everybody in the organization is speaking the same language. So when you organize database, now it becomes a daily ritual to use the proper language. If somebody's using hot and you're using the star technique, you need to correct them. Everybody needs to speak the same language. The language in football it's different for every team, but they're talking about the same stuff. So it can be different from team to team, but everybody in your organization needs to speak the right language and use it every day. So database really stood out to me because that's the health of your business. And then the third component, if you just do these 3 things, handle your personal health, get the database straightened out, use it every single day, and you do this third thing, which is know that conversation number that Sharran's talking about, your business is going to go up exponentially in 2026. If you stick to that number, know the number inside and out, run the math problem that Sharran used. And by the way, as you get better at having those conversations, 59 becomes 49, 49 becomes 39.
Yeah.
And you start to see real growth off of that. So those are 3 things that stuck out to me. I mean, everything was exceptional. It was gold. Throw gold in the chat if you agree. But there's a lot there. And those are 3 things that stuck out to me.
Awesome. Byron, I have just one last thing. By the way, before Byron shares the team leader stuff, I want to share with you the thing that I feel like why it breaks down for people. So these are the 2 reasons why plans break down for people. So Bobby, I'm going to hit some of my slides in a second here. These are the 2 reasons why the plans break down for people. And here's reason number 1. Reason number 1 is there's something that happens next. And I want to show you what happens next. So please take a screenshot of this and I'm going to give you exactly what happens next, because you're translating this to making it an operating part of your life. All right. So here's what happens next. These are the 5 things. If you did, it actually locks in the plan. Right. So number 1, Byron's third reason was the daily number. That is actually essentially is the first one on this list, which is number 1. If you don't block time to hit your daily number of conversations, you will not have time to hit your daily number of conversations. There is nothing more important than your daily number of conversations. That is to eat the frog. That is what you need to do. If you go to bed without you hitting your daily number, now you've incurred a debt of the number of daily numbers that you need to add to the next day, right? That's number 1. Number 2, you got to just go through your plan and just pick out the action items. You said you were going to do email, you said you were going to do hyperlocal, and then just do the Fantastic 4 on them. You're like saying, hey, what is the activities? What are the skills? What is the system? What is the support that I need? Anytime someone gives you something to do, just take it through that process. Otherwise, it will break down. I'll give you number 3. Once you have this document written, every single morning when you wake up, before you start your day, take the 1 minute and just read this document to yourself every day. And when I say read it, I mean read it out loud. Read it out loud. Don't skim it. Read it out loud, because you spent the time designing your future. If you don't take your future seriously that you designed for yourself, who will? Right? Read the document to yourself before you start it. Number 4, I'll just give you this idea that the most coveted time, the most sacred time for me that I found in my life is on Friday afternoons. I do something called the review preview. My coach, Michael Shergold, taught me this, and he said, I'll tell you my process. I look back at my calendar, I review my calendar for the last week, and I go through every single meeting. I'm like, hey, I met with Byron. Awesome. What is my follow-up? I met with Eric. What is my follow-up? I met with Jimmy. What's my follow-up? I met with Jill. What's my follow-up? So I keep going through every single appointment and I ask, what's my follow-up? That allows me to not go by at least a week without dropping anything. Right? And the next thing that I do is I look forward 2 weeks and I say, awesome, I'm going to hang out in Vegas with Byron. I'm going to do a speaking thing with Eric. I need to make these pieces of content. I need to make a bunch of YouTube videos. I need to write a memo. Awesome. What is my prep? And then I put the prep box on my calendar. That allows you to say, wait a minute, this last week I didn't get my daily contacts in. I need to put my daily contact numbers in to ensure, to guarantee that I get the result at the end. When I do the review preview, every single week I'm able to recalibrate. And that literally takes me 15, 20 minutes a week. That is the one sacred block that makes everything work for me, right? And last but not least, I will tell you this. If you take nothing else away from today, please take this. Once you've written the plan, you say no to everything else. You say no to everything else. Whatever else comes by you, like someone else has like, hey, you should go do this new app, which is blah, blah, blah. No, you say no to everything else. Nothing. Whatever's in the plan is all that you're going to do. You're going to do nothing else. Because then you're going to see that you did the plan and you got the result. Then next year, you will do another plan. And you're like, wait a minute, everything that I put on my calendar, everything that I set a plan about, I go do. And you'll feel a really great sense of confidence that you can do whatever you say you're going to do. Just like my video with Neil. You are who you say you are by showing the proof that you are who you say you are. If you don't say no to everything else, you will just take all the other shiny objects and you will never do anything. And that is very, very common for real estate agents. Right? And so the most important thing is the last part of this form, and I really would like you to take just a minute to write this. And I want to tell you what happened to me and what I would write in this. Whenever you're stuck, you need to put this in front of you, and I think this is really important. And I want to tell you what one quote that really stuck with me, and that is by Aquaman, and I really, really love it. And whenever I'm stuck, whenever I'm scared, whenever I'm tired, whenever I think that I can't do anymore, I look at this, and it's this, which is, not giving up is the most heroic thing you can do. Not giving up is the most heroic thing you can do. By the way, I'm a Marvel fan, so I don't know about Aquaman, but more importantly, I think if there was any superhero quote, it is this: not giving up is the most heroic thing you can do. I think a lot of times we let a week or 2 weeks go by and we don't do our daily number and it just feels too overwhelming. Well, great, just restart that day. You don't have to do another 40, just restart that day, because not giving up is the most heroic thing you can do. I will tell you this, please make sure that you write something that will motivate you, that will inspire you, that will make you not quit on the bottom of that page. On the bottom of this page, I'm going to say, for my family, not giving up is the most heroic thing I can do. This is really important to write, because when you're stuck, when you're tired, you will read that and you will know that there's so much more to this plan than you, because you're doing this for something bigger and better than yourself. So please know that not giving up is the most heroic thing you can do. I really hope that this process was good for you. I know that, we'll bring Byron back on, but the key part in all of this is we wanted to give you all of this in one page, so that I will tell you, so that every single day you can read this out loud to yourself. And if you don't read it out loud to yourself, it just becomes this plan in a drawer, Byron, in a drawer that
I'll work on that. Laura pointed that out. I will work on that, Laura. You'll hear me on the hot sheet speaking more eloquently.
No,
I'm from the Northeast. What can I do?
It's so good. But we will get you all the materials. I think Byron and Eric and the BAM team and I are going to package up not only the materials, not only the replay, but all the training videos that go along with the various things we talked about, like the deal of the week, like the hyperlocal system, like all of that. We're going to package all of that up and then share with you all to jump into BAMX if you ever wanted to do that, because I think that will be really helpful to you. But I think Byron's
I'll show you how to do that. We opened it up for free for everybody for the next 7 days. So I'll show you how to do that. And then I have the team leader worksheet surprise. I know it wasn't part of the original plan, but I want to offer that to you.
Yeah, please do that, Byron.
Sharran, or somebody in the chat, Sharran's talking about, and we're talking about this business plan being a living document. It's something that you're looking at every day. It's not a one-time thing. And right now, if somebody could throw in the chat, what is the most powerful living document in our business? We're real estate professionals helping people buy and sell real estate. What's the most powerful living document that we deal with every single day? I've stumped the chat. right? It's contracts, right?
Yep.
It's the contracts that we have. Those are yes, contracts, sales contracts,
Yep.
buyer agency contracts. Those are the most powerful living documents that we're touching every single day that are impacting somebody's life in such a significant, meaningful way. So treat this business plan that you're going to work on from here, that maybe you were following along, already starting to build yours out. Treat that as a contract, right? Sharran ended beautifully with like, I'm not going to quit because of X. Now sign the thing. Have your wife sign it. Have your partner sign it. Have your husband sign it. Make that a contract for how you're going to move forward over the next year, and use it every single day. All right. So before I get to the 26 team leader business plan, I just want to offer up something to everybody. We open this up for 7 days for free, so you guys can try it. BAMX on School. The business planning resources are going to be pinned right to the top. So you can find them there right when you jump onto School, jump into the Start Here conversation, start having a conversation with like-minded people just like yourself. If you want to find these resources or some of the things that Sharran was talking about, right? Some of the social media drops that we do every single Friday, or the deal of the week, or how to do the ChatGPT SEO. It's all in here. And if you scroll down, all of the role plays or the webinar instant replays, they're in here as well. Each classroom is designed for where you are in your business. So if you need more leads, jump into a classroom that talks about getting more leads. If you need to build a brand, we have that in there. If you want to convert at a higher level, join me on the role play masterminds. I do that every single week. Love to have you in there. Okay. For everybody that signs up here, we're going to also we have a calendar of everything that's happening. Like at 4:30 today, we've got Chris Benjamin doing office hours, but at 1:30 on Friday, we're doing a special onboarding for everybody who jumps in to BAMX today. It's free for the next 7 days, so you can try it out. All of the resources are going to be pinned to the top, and they're going to be in that classroom. Everything, Sharran's slides, Sharran's blank worksheet that's a fillable PDF, Sharran's document that he worked through here, the team leader worksheet that I'm about to share with you guys and skim through here briefly. Also, the replays are always in there. So everything will be packaged up in one place where you can find it. I know the team's also going to be sending out the link for, if you want to just get direct, it's 2026businessplan.com. I know a bunch of you guys jumped in there and followed along. So that opportunity is there for you guys. Hope you guys jump into it. All right. For team leaders or for agents who are thinking about starting a team, or you want to structure your team, too many teams in the business right now. I almost thought I wasn't going to do this, Sharran. I almost thought this was a bad idea because there's too many teams that don't think like this is a business. They think more of it as like a family or a social club. If you want to do the social club thing, just take everybody out for happy hour on Fridays and then run and operate your own business. This should be a business. You should treat it like a business. You should run a profitable team, not a non-for-profit team. You know, focus on your business and then have friends if that's the deal. So I almost didn't do it because of that. But for those of you that are in this position, you're going to see that this is going to follow a lot of what we just worked through. Okay. But this is from a team perspective. Now you've got two jobs as a team leader, right? Your job is to grow the business of every agent who's in your organization, and everything that we just worked through with Sharran, you need to know inside and out. But then you need to sit back and take the time to look at why your team exists. Why are you doing this as an agent? Why are you doing this as a team leader? What purpose does the team exist for? Okay, it can't just only exist for you to get some kind of a record or some kind of GCI number. Why does the team exist? What impact are you going to make on the community or the agents? The 3-year vision for the plan. Okay, in 3 years, how big is the team going to be? How many transactions are you going to be doing in 3 years? Because you're going to chunk this down over the next year. What's the profit target? I don't hear enough team leaders talking about profit, and it frustrates me. Brand identity. How's the market going to see this team different from the other options in the market? One of the things we recently did was just ran a list of competitors in our market. Who would be perceived, if somebody were to look us up, who would be the perceived competitors? Who would be the perceived solo agent competitors to what we offer? And then how can we differentiate ourselves in the market? How do we want the market to describe us? 1 year target for the team, your transactions, your goal, your team GCI, your net profit. What are the wins that if you achieve over the next 12 months are going to be a check mark that you're heading in the right direction? What are going to be the team wins that you've been able to collectively achieve that's going to say, I'm heading in the right direction. Team production math. It's the same math as the solo agent, basically. What's the team transaction goal? What do I need as an average agent to produce? What do I need for agent attraction targets? What's my net onboarded? Not how many I'm going to attract this year. How many am I going to net onboard, net keep? What does an effective agent look like in our business? Some people collect agents that do 0 deals. Others have a metric for effectiveness over a 60-day time period. Are you doing 2 under contracts every 60 days? If you are, you have a spot on the team. If you don't, you're net non-effective and it's time to be walked to the line. The line is like that little diving board on the side of a ship, the plank, and then they jump off. Weekly team generated leads. You have no business operating a team structure if the team is not generating business for everybody, where everybody can win, where you can have access to team leads. How many weekly team generated conversations are we having? I run this number for my ISA every single week. How many conversations do we have? How many team generated listing appointments did we generate? How many team generated buyer opportunities did we generate? Weekly new team generated appointments. Weekly new team generated clients. When somebody asks the question about like, what's a conversation in this business actually mean? And Sharran broke it down, what a conversation, real estate related conversation is on the 4 things somebody might be doing. Well, on top of that, if you're having the conversation with the same person, we all know it takes 100 different conversations to take somebody from lead to the closing table and get them to move into their new home. That 100 conversations with one person is not the 59. It's 59 new conversations. Open house, on the phone, following up. Here's something that I'd like everybody to do. This is something that if you're a solo agent or you're a team or managing broker, whatever the case may be, go on your MLS and just pull from your MLS what feels like a normal year. So like, don't use 2020. Pull what feels like a normal year. Could be this year. A lot of markets are being reported as neutral right now. And break down every month what percentage of sales took place in your market that you work every month, right? January might be 6% of the sales close in a 12-month cycle, while June might be closer to 12, 13, 14, 15%. If you're in a secondary market or a primary market, those numbers are going to fluctuate. But know what percent. So as you're building your team goal, if you want to do 500 units or you want to do 100 units, what percent of those do I need to do in January? What percent do I need to hit to know that I'm on target in January? Don't divide that thing out by 12 because there are tailwinds in our business that we need to pay attention to. There are seasons to the business. What are the constraints? Okay, if you follow EOS, then you're going to know this as issues. What are the issues in my business? An issue doesn't mean something bad. Just like a constraint doesn't mean something bad. A constraint might mean an opportunity that if we solve for this, we're going to be able to move on to the next step. So what are the issues that we're seeing in our business? You're going to have more than 3, more than likely. List them all out. So what obstacle has that created for us to solve, and what's the plan? Just like Sharran worked with us on the agent plan. And now we're taking this from 3 years to 1 year and building out, and you know this language if you know EOS, our 90-day rocks. What are the 3 things we're committed to over the next 90 days? And when you do this is a simple worksheet. I'm going to drop it into BAMX. You guys can use it. When you do this and you do the plan that Sharran walked through, you're probably talking about hours, not minutes, to really get it done. And certainly from the team perspective. We spend a whole day on this every quarter. And we already did our annual plan, and it took us a full day. It took us a full 8-9 hours to do. All of the members of leadership were involved. And we did that in October because the year ends in October. The deals we're putting under contract today are already being put on the board. In fact, I think we did at the end of September. The deals we're doing today, they're already being put on the board for January. So I'd encourage you to get your plan done. Spend the time. Next week offers a really valuable time to be able to do this because people are pulled away from the day-to-day anyways with the holiday coming up. Spend the time, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 8 hours, whatever it takes, spend the appropriate amount of time doing this. And if that is going to be starting to feel heavy where you can't you can't figure out where to get the time from, then do what I did when Sharran walked through his plan. I said, man, if I solve for my health personally, and I stay committed to that every day, if I solve for my database, and if I solve for knowing my conversation number, and I just let go of everything else and say no for now, doesn't mean I can't pick it up later when I have the capacity, the support, the infrastructure to do so. If I get those 3 things figured out on a living document that I've contracted with myself where I'm never going to quit on it, I've simplified it, I've made it easy, and I can knock it out. So, Sharran, I appreciate you so much, man.
Thanks, buddy.
I said it at the top, guys. Somebody like Sharran has done everything that we're all trying to do in this business, whether it's from the agent level, the leadership level, the investing level. And Sharran, for you to take the time and share this with the entire BAM community, not a theory of what works. We'll leave that to NAR's training that they're going to come out with over the next 3 years. Not some professor theorizing on what's going on, but somebody who's actually done what we're doing. I'm always looking ahead. Who's ahead of me that I can gain from and pull some resources from? And Sharran, you've done that for all of us today. So thank you so much. If you're still with us, just throw a quick thank you to Sharran in the chat. Sharran, how committed is Sharran to the impressions that he wants in his business plan in 26? Dude's about to rip 4 hours of content right after this with his production team so that he's ready for the end of the year. So this is somebody who shows us what commitment looks like. And Sharran, I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having us, and thank you for doing this for everybody in the industry.
Thank you.
Big thank you to
Thank
Eric.
you, everybody.
He's here, but we didn't have any Eric jokes today. So
I saw some Eric jokes in the chat. I saw some Eric jokes in the chat. All right. So Chris Benjamin, 4:30 inside of BAMX. We've opened it up for you guys for free for the next 7 days. If you want to check it out, love to see you in there. DM me on there. Try not to DM me anywhere else. I answer 100% of the school DMs. So if you need, I just jumped on a phone call with one of our members off a DM yesterday. So that's the best place to get me instantly. Love to see you guys in there.
Byron,
Sharran,
I would say
thank you so much.
the one thing that I would say for everybody is I hope you took some pictures today. Just for all of us, please tag Byron, Eric, and me, and now BAM, because I think that algorithms work in magical ways where they allow us to see more of our stuff. So whatever you took, share with us. I think that'll be good for the entire community. So please do that. That will be our thank you for this. So please.